You're a disgrace, Dantioch. I never want to see your face again. My lord, surely you do not mean it. I do. You are but a pitiful... Wait, where are you going? Forgive me, my lord, but I must carry out your orders. Steve, get the furnace ready. Wait, Captain, it is still hot. I know, the perfect time to hammer it in. There we go. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Perfect. I have done as you asked, father. Aren't you sad and disappointed? No, I am Iron, father. Iron within and without.
No, you're supposed to be sad and angry and be upset about it like I am with my dad. No, I'm better than you. I'm Barabas. Me.
Salutations, Rangers, General Bradley 101 back at you again with some more lore. And in today's video, boys and girls, we are taking a look at none other than the Iron Chad himself, Barabas motherfucking Big Dick Dantioch, baby. AKA what every Iron Warrior wishes they were and what Barabas is so pissed off that he can't be. But before we get into today's video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all that wonderful YouTube stuff. And if you really like the video, consider subscribing to a memberships. You get access to a bunch of awesome features, your name at the end of the comment section, my love and adoration, and these videos a full day early. It does help me out a lot. These videos take a fair bit of time to make, and YouTube don't pay so good. But only do it if you can afford it. This stuff will always be free, and thank you just for watching. I love and appreciate you. Yes, I do. Mwah. But that's enough of that. Click on all the things, and let's get taking a look at the one and only Barabas motherfucking Dantioch, baby. Barabas Dantioch was literally the chief warsmith of the 15th Grand Company and commander of the 51st Expeditionary Fleet. He would serve admirably throughout the Crusade, becoming Barabas' favorite son, indeed with some touting that he was to be the successor of the Legion if anything came to that. This was in part due to his sheer tactical prowess as well as his efficiency at building fortifications, in addition to his overall nature of truly encompassing the philosophy of being both iron within and without. However, this would all come to a head as the 51st Expeditionary Fleet was tasked with combating the Rud, a vicious xeno species which Barabas had deemed needed to be destroyed, eradicated entirely. Dantioch would make his stand upon the ForgeWorld of Golgis, fortifying the worlds to use them as a staging point for the invasion. However, it would be the Rud that would strike first. They would then infiltrate the fortress, and by using their special psionic technology, which caused everything around them to age into dust and ash. The fortress walls crumbled, steel rusted, even the bones of the Astartes, genetically augmented as they were no match, with many dying outright. Those who managed to survive would then be leapt upon from the shadows, flashing talons and vicious snarls, clashing and cleaving the Astartes in twain. It was a devastating blow, for never had the Imperium encountered such a foe, and Dantioch was wholly unprepared. In the aftermath of this, the worlds of Karakphora, Strapole, and Golgis were all lost. These were important fortress worlds that had been fortified, and their garrisons too were also lost in the process. However, Dantioch would enact some measure of revenge, as he is able to stall the Rud long enough to detonate a device that wiped out a good chunk of their forces, but it did not change the fact that overall it was a defeat for the Iron Warriors, and a vicious wounding of the 51st Expeditionary Fleet. Dantioch himself would be left horribly aged and crippled by this, with many of his company also being left critically aged, with only the use of bionics able them to operate as Astartes. He would then confront and speak with Barabas himself, questioning the Primarch on his reasoning for needing to destroy the Rud, claiming that they should have done more proper research and that more emphasis should have put into preparation and understanding their opponent, claiming that if such things had been done, he would not have had to lose half a Grand Company, the equivalent of several thousand Astartes, not to mention all of the Legion serfs, guardsmen, and materiel that they had lost in constructing the fortress. Barabas, being the small dick bitch that he is, refused to take any form of criticism whatsoever, had a bitch fit, and then decreed that Dantioch was the one wrong, and that he removed his command as well as his Terminator armor and sent him to the world of Lesser Damien to garrison the world there because he didn't want to look at him anymore. No, literally. The Primarch was said to have made such a big fuss about not wanting to see Dantioch's face ever again. Dantioch then decided that he would oblige his Primarch by then crafting a metal skull mask in the style of the Iron Warrior sigil. He then immediately pulled it red hot from the furnace, placed it onto his head, hammered it into place, and then stuck it under cold water, permanently fusing it to his skin. Because at the end of the day, he was his Primarch's servant, and if his Primarch gave an order, Dantioch would oblige. For now, if ever the Primarch would gaze upon Dantioch, he would only see the sigil of the Iron Warriors, constantly reminding Perty how fucking inadequate he was and how much better Dantioch was. That wasn't Dantioch's wish, but that sure is my wish, cause fuck you, Perty, your legion is better than you. Dantioch would be stationed on Lesser Dantioch for the rest of the crusade, and begin fortifying the world as best he could. And he did a pretty bang-up job, with him and the remainder of his company creating a massive fortress known as the Skachenhold. Despite its meager garrison, it was incredibly formidable. Dantioch was a prize builder of defenses, and he was able to compensate for his lack of garrison with a very strong defensive fortifications, enabling it to hold out incredibly long. This would be put to the ultimate test, as during the beginning of the heresy, messages and wayward words would reach the garrison of Lesser Damian of how the Warmaster Horus was slowly raising and conquering worlds of his own imperium. Dantioch at first would not believe it. However, Warsmith Grendel would then arrive and the now traitorous 51st Expeditionary Fleet, and he would claim the world in the name of the Warmaster and the Primarch, saying that it would need to be a resupply point for the invasion to Terra. Dantioch outright refused this, refusing to believe that his Primarch would fall or that his legion would fall. He instead, however, believed that Grendel was acting on his own and denied him access. However, it turns out that this whole interaction was being watched, as a hooded Space Marine soon revealed himself to the Iron Warriors present. But this was no ordinary Space Marine, for it was one Taro Nicodemus, a Tetrarch of Ultramar, one of the 4 Great Dukes directly under Guilliman and part of the Primarch's honor guard. He had been sent by Rabute Guilliman himself to recruit Dantioch into the ranks of the Loyalists to help fortify and defend Ultramar. It was there that Taro would explain the full situation of the heresy. Dantioch, however, would be so enraged that he would threaten to throw out the Ultramarines Tetrarch over the parapets of the battlements of the fortress. However, Taros was able to calm him and convince him, and upon truly understanding the situation and the fact that his whole legion and his Primarch had turned, and that it was he that was the outlier, not Grendel, then Dantioch fully submit himself to Taros and to Guilliman, inquiring as to what the Primarch would have him do. Guilliman's orders would be less than ideal, as he ordered to hold up the entirety of the 51st Expeditionary Fleet as long as he was able to buy them time to rally a response against the traitorous actions of the heretics. A normal commander would have balked at this. A normal commander would have been displeased. Another commander would have asked for more reinforcements. Another commander may have considered turning outright. But not Dantioch. Dantioch was an Iron Warrior, a true Iron Warrior. He was iron within and without. He was given an order, and he would succeed in following that order, or die trying. Thus, the Iron Warrior garrison, together with a few loyalist elements that had managed to arrive in time, held out stubbornly against the entirety of the 51st Expeditionary Fleet. His meager garrison of a few hundred against the tens of thousands of Space Marines that had been gathered before him. Yet he was able to hold out for well over a year, with the enemies battering themselves against the walls of the Skachenhold. The sheer defensive prowess and stubborn resolve of the Iron Warriors preventing any form of breach whatsoever. Nothing was ever compromised. Until, however, an Imperator-class Titan was deployed against the Skachenhold. For as formidable as his defenses was, there were few things that could withstand the might of an Imperator-class Titan. However, the remaining defenders, along with Dantioch, would lure the Titan into the fortress, before detonating its support pillars, causing the entirety of the fortress, the supplies, most of the traitor Legion Expeditionary Fleet, as well as the Titan itself, to fall into a lake of plasma lava, being engulfed and destroyed. At the same time, the group would teleport onto an enemy ship, commandeer it, slaughter the enemy crew, and make their way to the Ultramar realm proper. Not only had Dantioch held off the enemy for well over a year, he had truly crippled the 51st Expeditionary Fleet and wounded it severely. Indeed, the 51st would never make any successful attempt against the Loyalists in the coming heresy, with Warsmith Grendel falling into the lake of lava along with his Titan. It was at this point that Dantioch would then meet and talk with Guilliman. Dantioch originally believed that Guilliman would wish him to create new fortifications, have his warriors dispersed to protect Ultramar. However, Guilliman then pointed him to the world of Sotho. Sotho had long been an odd world in Ultramar, close to the Ultramar interior, yet not of Ultramar origins. It had unique technologies as well as structures on it that was Xenos in origin, yet Guilliman wished for Dantioch to study this. Dantioch was at first confused, but upon gazing upon the world, did he realize why the Primarch had wished him. But before he even had any concrete information, you could tell there was something special about the world of Sothos, for he had something what was known as a Pharaoh's Beacon. A Pharaoh's Beacon, it turns out, was some type of teleportation device. Yet more specifically, it was a safe teleportation device, as unlike the machinations of Chaos, it didn't use any form of warp travel, and unlike the Webboy of the Eldar, it wasn't a pocket dimension. It was simple, straight demolecularization, transportation from one place to another. And Dantioch soon came to the conclusion that there were many other devices around this area that could be connected to the Pharaoh's Beacon. But moreover, the Pharaoh's Beacon could be activated in a particular manner that would make it akin to a mini Astronomicon, cutting through the Ruinstone and allowing people to reach the world haven of Ultramar. Guilliman was interested in both of these things, but especially the last thing. He immediately ordered the beacon activated, and soon refugees as well as loyalists alike would begin straggling into the world of Ultramar, slowly forming it and bolstering it, including the remaining fleet of the Dark Angels, who had aboard them a prisoner known as Conrad Kurz. However, Conrad Kurz would soon play Among Us aboard the Lion ship and then escape into Ultramar proper, and then at least 7 different kinds of bloody murder and PG no-no upon the poor people of Space Rome. During this time, Dantioch had formed a budding friendship with another captain, that of the Imperial Fist known as Alexis Pollux, the commander of the Battle of Fall, and the same guy who gave Perty a right smack in the nuts. Dantioch and Perty would be in conversation one day through the Pharos beacon when, however, he sensed the presence of Conrad Kurz. It turned out that Kurz was indeed right behind him, or indeed very close to Pollux. Dantioch, however, was able to manipulate the alien technology and physically grab and teleport Pollux through the chamber, allowing him to be next to his brother Iron Warrior and saving him from the machinations of Kurz. Indeed, this wasn't a fluke or a one-time affair, for both Pollux and Barabas would be able to use this method to rescue both Lionel Johnson and Rabute Guilliman from being ambushed by Kurz and then meeting an untimely end. Dantioch would continue his work with the Pharos beacon and continue fortifying Ultramar and preparing Imperium Secundus. However, Dantioch's true moment to shine came after the Night Lords were defeated at Tulsaga by the Dark Angels. The remnants of the Night Lords Legion then followed the strange beacon that they had detected in the warp, which soon guided them to Sontha, and over many solar months the Night Lords gathered as much intelligence as they could, and soon discovered this particular arcane device known as the Pharos. They, in their twisted madness, then hoped to find out the whereabouts of their Primarch, who at this point was soon dead, and launched a vicious campaign of attack upon the world of Sotho. It was here, however, that Warsmith Dantioch would stand alone against a horde of vicious Night Lords, swatting them aside with his power mace, before eventually overloading the Pharos beacon in its entirety, detonating the structure and creating a massive explosion that could be seen from other galaxies, saving the world in the process and denying the Night Lords and thus the heretics this poignant technology. However, it is claimed by some that this detonation would have been what caused the Tyranids to eventually reach the system. But regardless of whether that is true or not, Dantioch remained true to his word, and despite fighting after fighting, duty after duty, when many times over he could simply have requested he and his men a simple life of peace, he stood firm in his diligence, never barking, never breaking, never asking for quarter, never begging for less, for he was an iron warrior. He was iron within and without, and he would serve until his dying breath, and serve until his dying breath he did indeed do, like a true son of iron. So that's the official story of Barabas Dantioch, aka the Iron Chad. But there's a few more things I want to talk about this particular chap. Number 1 being how he has his own founding chapter. Yes, you may have guessed it, but the Ultramarines' second founding chapter, known as the Silver Skulls, are totally Ultramarines. Totally. Boy, I bet my left nut. Nah, I'm so confident, I will bet my entire cock and balls that they are descended from the gene seed of the loyalist Iron Warriors that remained in Ultramar after the death of Dantioch. 100%, I swear this has to be a thing. And if it's not a thing, that's bloody annoying, because it makes so much sense. I am a strong proponent of loyalist chapters from loyalist traitor gene seeds. Moreover, it's the impact that he had. You see, Dantioch is not an edge case. He may be an edge case for the Iron Warriors, but not for the Legions as a whole. You take a look at big names throughout the Horus Heresy: Nathaniel Garrow, Saul Tarvitz, Garviel Loken, Mesa Varen. All of these guys were old captains within the Legion. They still held on to the beliefs of the old Legions before their Primarch met. And moreover, they held on to the beliefs that the Legion was supposed to have, who still remembered what it meant to be a Legiones Astartes. And unlike their Primarchs, who were said to be so far removed from them, they didn't forget that at the end of the day they were servants, not to the God Emperor, but rather to the Imperium. They understood that a war on the scale, like the Horus Heresy, would destroy everything that they held dear. So for one reason or another, they withheld back their personal feelings, and they did the right thing. Perturabo in particular for me is just a character that I really have problems understanding. For me, he's the classic case of being a petulant manchild, and I know that's a meme, but it's a case of him being a hypocrite. He claims to be iron within, iron without. He claims to be able to take whatever the world gives him and just crack on because he's Perturabo. He doesn't need anyone, doesn't need anything. He is the stoic embodiment of iron. Yet every single time someone pushes his buttons, someone calls him out, or someone steps to him, he breaks like ice. And he complains and whines, and he wishes them to go away. He's a hypocrite. Now I know that some Perturabo stands out there will claim that he has development and character growth. And to be fair, yeah, he does a little bit. But for me, Perturabo and the Iron Warriors are a prime example of me loving a legion, yet not so much their Primarch. I think Dantioch is the perfect example of this. When he's up against the walls, he literally has nothing. He is a traitor in every sense of the word. His association with the Iron Warriors makes him a traitor to the Loyalists, and his refusal to betray the Emperor then makes him a traitor to his own legion and his own father. So in every aspect, he is a traitor, yet the one thing that he didn't betray, the Iron Code that he and all Iron Warriors have of doing what was required of them, of doing what was asked, whether or not they wanted to, whether or not it was easy. He is the perfect embodiment of what it truly means to be an Iron Warrior. And his descendants, the Silver Skulls, carry this over. Throughout time and time again, they've noted for their sheer stubborn tenacity, their refusal to quit, their refusal to yield. One of their prime canticles is literally about them talking how they will never yield so long as there is enemies afoot, so long as there are mutants, so long as there are xenos, so long as there are traitors, they cannot stop. For as long as those evils exist, the Imperium has need of them, and they will fight on, for they are iron. Or in this case, silver. What is not silver than rather iron that has been gilded in beauty? And I believe that if Barabas Dantioch would look upon the true descendants of the loyal Iron Warriors, he'd be very proud of what he saw. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's Barabas Dantioch. Nice quick little story, but it's so good. It is so good. It's such a perfect example of a Space Marine embodying the Legion more than his Primarch ever did. I wish we could get more about the Silver Skulls and, them being revealed, oh, we're actually Iron Warriors. Or give me like some Loyalist Iron Warrior warbands. I love the whole Iron Warriors, idea and their theme. I mean, industrialized Greco-Roman culture, it make my PP the big PP. I need you to understand that. I love it so much, and I just wish there was more of it. But yeah, let me know down below, what do you think about Mr. Barabas Iron Chad Big Dig Dantioch and his whole relation with Perturabo? Do you think that he was indeed better than Perty? Do you think Perty eventually made up for it? What do you think about the Silver Skulls? Do you think that they are in fact the true loyalists of the Iron Warriors, or do you think they may be Ultramarines who took up Iron Warrior values? Comment down below and let me know what you guys think. And as always, a beloved thank you to my dear, loyal, faithful member, Mr. Thomas Moslons. Thank you, sir, for your continued support. And a big thank you to Mr. Assassin86 for his $5 donation. I appreciate that, sir, and I'm so bloody glad you enjoyed that video about good old Castle the Mad. Thank you all also very much for doing this. It warms my heart to the very most utmost, and yeah, I'm just super thankful, man. Thank you all, seriously. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. And if you guys want to join the memberships, you gain access to these videos a full day early, as well as other awesome benefits, and you get to help out your boy. But remember, only if you can afford it. And thank you guys just simply for watching. It really does mean the most beautiful soul to my heart, and goddammit, I do love you. If I saw you, I would kiss you. Yes, I would. Mwah. But that's enough of that, ladies and gentlemen. I have been General Bradley 101. You've been beautiful, awesome, and amazing people. Thank you all so very much for watching, and I will catch y'all next time. Dismiss, Rangers. Ladies and gentlemen, Barabas Big Dick Motherfucking Iron Chad, Iron Daddy, biggest cock having, fuck you, no, Petit Lamau. You will not see my face ever again because you'll be reminded of how much fucking better I am. The one and only best Iron fucking warrior, Dantioch, baby. Let's go.